Hey guys, it's Charlie, and what you are going to be seeing here is the Mancave tour for CWR Productions 2026 summer version. Now, I made a lot of changes around here. I normally start these at the front door, kind of like giving the idea like you're walking in. I decided I wanted to start with my big guy right here, Stripe, which is now in the bedroom by the Bates Motel sign. I moved him from the front room for space. You'll see what I did in the front room in a moment there. But I wanted to start with him and just kind of work my way forward here and kind of give everybody an eagle eye view. Eagle eye overview of everything going on here. Okay. Another eagle eye view here. Before we break down everything that I got. Hey, birthday girl. Roxetta the Destroyer. She just turned 8 years old yesterday. That's my baby girl right there. Okay, let's get this started here.
We can all agree on that. We're all here to talk.
So what we got going on here is Hack the Movies. This is their review for worst Terminator movie, and he's with Joe from Movie Dumpster. That's Tony, the host. Joe from Movie Dumpster, and their buddy Tim. Okay, so let's lower the volume here.
Aliens, Predator, and Terminator.
So these famous podcasters here don't get. Okay, there we go. Let's kill the volume there. Okay, like I said, we'll start at the doorway here, like you're coming inside. And that's what you see right there, which is the Haunted Mansion Spirit Halloween doormat. So, I always like to ask this question when I'm starting these. That's from Shout Studios, which is now been liquidated into Groove. They used to be a really big boutique label, the boutique label that got me into boutiques. And now they've become basically subsidiaried into another corporation. But they're still making good stuff right there. And then that is custom-made Sleepwalkers poster there. Awesome poster. I don't think I'm ever going to move that. I just love the look and feel and vibes of that one for a really cheesy movie from the 90s, early 90s. It just looks amazing. And I love how that looked. Like, that artist really knew how to capture the movie well. Okay, a few things here. So, who is Charlie? Charlie is me. I am a collector. I am a RadTech student at Mount Sac. This is right up here. A couple of my favorite things right there. So my first celebrity crush, Eliza Dushku. Batman 89, Keaton and Nicholson. The band Portishead right there. One of my favorite female-fronted bands. That's Alice Cooper with Jason. Promo on the inside there from Jason Lives. We got Tom Petty, my favorite singer and my favorite band of all time, right there. Okay, moving ourselves down right here. These are my triple changers right here. Blitzwing and Astro Train from Transformers Studio Series 86. And those are Rogue and Gambit Bust right there. Moving down right here. David Bowie, the Starman. Besides a few NECAs right here. So we got Ash. We got Dream Warriors Freddy. We have Jason from Part 7. We have Michael from Halloween Ends. That's the clock tower with Elvira on top right there with the popcorn. Jason from Part 2 NECA with his mom, and with Michael from The Curse of Michael Myers NECAs. So Charlie, he is a collector, as you could tell. So what we got right here, that is one of my favorite actresses right now. Because of everything going on in the world, I've kind of been venturing into 70s TV with the Mary Tyler Moore show. So that's Mary Tyler Moore. To just kind of inspire me with light and fluffy comedy. To remind me that the world is not always so serious. And there's just things out of our control that we can't do anything about. So we just gotta roll with it. Okay, so right here, a couple of my favorite things right here. So that is actor Tom Hanks with the Crypt Keeper puppet from the episode of Tales from the Crypt, my favorite show that he directed, None But the Lonely Heart. That is my best friend, or one of my very important close friends, Electra. She inspires me. She inspires me to be my best me. Always has. And happy birthday, Electra. Hopefully, 41. It's a great year for you, buddy. That is my best friend, Danielle, right there. She is my best friend, my twin. God bless me when he put her in my life, because she's put up with me for the longest. And she cares about me. And that says a lot. That's my friend Brina here on my 40th birthday in Vegas. That is Sonia and her family right there. Sonia is one of my close friends from my vet tech years. An inspiration in my life. Great woman, great friend. Really glad to know her. And her family is awesome. Okay, that is my Krampus sign from Spirit Halloween. Beside my Elvira sign from Spirit Halloween. And underneath that, we have an Elm Street one as well. And a cat tree. One of two cat trees. The bigger one is in the bedroom now. Okay. So what we have right here are the 3 posters that will never change. Again, these are Shelf Factory custom artist made. So what we have here is Big Trouble in Little China. My absolute favorite John Carpenter movie. We have Army of Darkness. One of my favorite entries in the Evil Dead franchise. And we have Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. That is a really great variant poster. Again, the artist really knew how to capture the best parts of that movie, and he made it work, and I'm so grateful to have that in my collection forever. So that's always going to be close by, front and center by the TV. We have a Xenomorph with a Velociraptor NECA. Not NECA, that's Amber Collection, and the Xenomorph Razor Claw is NECA. That's the NECA Bat Gremlin right there. Next to Toby Spider-Man Mezco. And a Compy, just a random Compy. Compies were one of my favorite dinosaurs from Lost World Jurassic Park. They are definitely underutilized in collecting wise. In the Jurassic Park collections, they're not utilized as much as they should. So what we have here is we have Daffy NECA, we have a Ben Cooper Batgirl, Rock Candy Elvira. That's a vintage Crypt Keeper from the animated series from the 90s. That's a Velociraptor Funko Baby in shell. That's Frenzy from Transformers. We got America Chavez with Black Cat and one of my favorite X-Men Gambit right there. beside Rumble, the vintage Rumble. Milo from the Mask, Dilophosaurus, my favorite dinosaur from the Jurassic Park franchise. Never utilized enough. But I love that guy. Okay, so what we have here is the first of 2 vinyl displays. These are what I call my banger ones. So what we have here, going by year of artist release, we got The Doors right there. We got Tom Petty right here. So I've organized these by the year that the artist formed. We got Depeche Mode right here. Okay. It's another Depeche Mode right there. Ah! Ah! Don't want to drop that. We got the Rolling Stones right here. Technically, the Rolling Stones should be in front of the Doors. And then this one. So we got Ozzy Osbourne, who I just really started getting into after his death. I'm honest about that. A few other banger albums over here. So what we got is Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. Yeah. Okay, still recording, so we didn't lose anything. Pink Floyd here. Kind of gonna have to switch out some of how this is displayed right here. It makes more sense on the other one what I did. You'll see that in a little bit. Blue Oyster Cult right here. That's a live album there. As I said, these are just bangers right here. Just, you put these on from beginning to end. They're just great stuff. Prodigy. Underworld. This one. That's a cool one right there. That's Underworld. We got Michael Jackson right there. Portishead. We got Liz Phair right there. Exile in Guyville. Yeah, I'm going to have to switch this out eventually. A couple banger soundtracks right here. So what you got is Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Transformers the movie, Batman, Kiki's Delivery Service. Like I said, just beginning to end, you got bangers on these. Evil Dead the Musical. Okay, so moving down here, we got some books right there. We got Deadpool by the Creepshow VHS. So what we got here are different franchise movies that I love. So let's get in close right here. We got the Evil Dead right there. Jack Nicholson, Joker Funko. We got DC Universe right here. I've kind of, what I've done to organize these the best is they're organized within like the 3-disc collector sets. So you see one really good one in there, and it's got 3 movies on the inside. And that was the way I decided those work best. That's Marvel Cinematic Universe and a couple other forgotten movies, superhero movies from the 90s. Of course, The Phantom. Clockwork Orange right there. Okay, so yeah, Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got King Cold from Dragon Ball Z. We got Disney right there. We got the Alien Omnibus books Boba Fett Funko, Agatha Funko. So right here, what we got is Tom Hanks, Al Pacino, Leonardo DiCaprio collections right there. All organized like basically most of these have 3 movies on the inside with 1 on the cover. And like the best way that I organize it, if I'm ever looking for a title, and we'll pull this guy out right here. So that's Quantumania right here. In Quantumania, you'll see that I wrote down that it's also got Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania in there. And Renfield, which was the Nicolas Cage vampire movie with Nicholas Hoult. And then, of course, right there, you got the Fox X-Men Cinematic Universe, and also Prometheus and Donnie Darko. So, Aliens. And then, what you also got here is Close Encounters, Star Wars, and Star Trek. Also organized multiple movies in. Okay. So what we have here, okay, we'll go up here. Jack Burton, Angela from Night of the Demons, theatrical poster. Warriors, that is a custom art print from Frankensons here in California. City of Industry area. That's a custom art print, so you're not going to find that anywhere but where I found it, which is awesome. Dream Warriors theatrical poster. Spider-Gwen, my favorite Spider-Man variant. Michael Myers, Curse of Michael Myers. Popcorn, Light Up Pumpkin from Spirit Halloween. Margaret Robbie, Harley Quinn. That is Mohawk from Gremlins 2, one of my absolute favorite Gremlins movies. That's from Danielle. She sent that to me for Christmas one year, and I love that guy. So right here, what you got is my vet tech section and my radiology section right here. So like my study section here. We got my Tom Petty poster right there. We have an Avril Lavigne picture right there. She is one of my favorite singers from like high school era, because I was graduating from high school in 2002 when Let Go, the first Avril album came out, and I related to it that entire summer. So a lot of like my appreciation for Avril is pretty much from like the first 2 albums. Kind of. You'll see a few pictures of her, but it's all like Let Go era, because it just reminds me of high school when I see it. Okay, so what we have is a few Transformers right here. We got Coronation Starscream with Galvatron about to get that headshot from Transformers the movie. Some Insecticons from the Legacy line, and Thrust. And again, my friend Brina in one of her Halloween costumes. She's one of the kindest people that I know. So Brina matters very much to me because she has such a good heart, and she'll always be there for me. Stripe NECA right there. Lobo from DC Universe. Optimus Prime taking on Sound Blaster right there with the Matrix of Leadership. Ducky Wonder Woman. Cosmo from Guardians of the Galaxy. Megatron taking on Thor in his Guardians of the Galaxy Thor Ragnarok costume with the Captain America shield. Leonard Nimoy, rest in peace. Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Doc Brown NECA, Ultra Magnus Hot Rod, Springer Blaster, RC, and Jazz. It's a picture of my dad on a horse from his youth. So right here, what we got is some Egyptian astrology. So Amun-Ra, that's for my birthday. Isis, that's for Danielle. So that's what that represents there. Okay, so we got the tattoo gremlins right there, flanking Thundercracker, one of my favorite Seekers, with Mew Mew from Thor, and Thrust, and of course, Donald Trump inspiration, Biff from Back to the Future Part 2. Area 51 license plate, that is from a site in Vegas. It's a Vegas escape room that me and Sabrina went to for my 40th birthday in Vegas. That I'm very proud to have that experience for. Brina really made my 40th birthday worthwhile. A lot of the people made it worthwhile, but Brina really just brought it home for me. And I was able to spend my 40th birthday the way it was meant to be spent with Brina and Danielle, because we went to a Collective Soul concert like the day after, which was awesome. RoboCop poster right there. I love that poster. Let's go this way. So what we have are my DeLoreans with the Batmobile right there. Those are Jada figures. Quintesson figure right there from Earthrise. Batman with Batmobile Funko. That is the Adam West version. One of my absolute favorite versions of Batman. It was really between Adam West and Michael Keaton. And then Q figure, Jack Burton right there. Lost World Lunchbox, Aya Agamotto. Little figures, Hooper, Brody, and Quint with Bruce. So that's a really cool display right there. These are some of my few remaining DVDs. Goosebumps, X-Men, Spider-Man, Briscoe County Jr., and Whose Line Is It Anyways? Spider-Gwen Funko, Maleficent Funko, concert DVDs right here. Down here, what you got are my illustrated Halloween's novel, the novelization from '78, illustrated version, and my EC Comics Tales from the Crypt collection, not complete, but working on that. Okay. Some magazines right here. So those are like my Empire, Total Film, and Script. Just all kinds of my different magazines I've collected over the years. Those are Script, creative screenwriting there. These ones are like Rolling Stones right here. Movie magazines there. And then right here, what you got are my art books right here. For some of the creative writing that I do. I have a few different sections for my creative writing. What we have here is my Thing poster with Channing Tatum Gambit. Linda Carter Wonder Woman photo. So what we got right here are head knockers right there. So that is Leatherface. That's a Vegas sign for my 40th birthday. That's Pinhead holding the Lamentation configuration box and the keys to Biff's Pleasure Palace. Soundwave mask right there with a light on the inside to help it light up. Ash versus Freddy versus Jason. Freddy versus Jason versus Ash comics. What we got right here are my Captain Marvel comics. And that's also my Spider-Gwens. As I said, Spider-Gwen is my favorite variant of Spider-Man. I really love that idea. And I really love Captain Marvel comics. I'm really into that character. We got Scarlet Witch, some Doctor Strange. We got Goose, the Flurkin. That is a shoulder sitter. So it sits on your shoulder with a magnet. Eddie Brock Funko. Brachiosaur toy. We got more Doctor Stranges. We got some Spider-Man Venom comics right here. And then behind these, it's really hard to tell, is going to be my Marvel Master Works. So I have my Spider-Man comics, my Avengers, and my X-Men inside there. Okay. Let's move on up, actually. So what we got right there is the Mount Rushmore plushies of horror. So my top 4 favorites, Leatherface, Jason, Freddy, Michael. I call that Pinhead Michael because he's got pins in his head. Okay. A few different figures right here. I love this. That's Rowdy Roddy Piper taking on the Scorpion from Spider-Man. That's the Chameleon right there. And that is a Transformer. Marty McFly Jr., Starlight from The Boys. That is Angela from Gargoyles, NECA. Typo Negative from the Slow Deep and Hard Vinyl. I really like that picture. It's like the anti-Beatles, and that's why I put that one up right there prominently. Right over here, what you got is Captain Carter and Captain Steve Rogers before the Super Soldier formula. Astro Train Retro, Warbird from Marvel, Demona, NECA, Leatherface Mask, and Jason from Jason Goes to Hell mask right there. A few other little figures right here. A few little plush gizmos right there. Ghostbusters badge. A few little mini blind figures right there. Halloween 2. One of my favorite Halloweens. Bros right there. So that is 3 of my high school bros right there. That is James, that's Ozzy, that's Andy, beside me, and James's cousin, Nikki. That's Sonia. Okay. Constructicons, my favorite team from the Transformers G1 era. Adam West right there. That's also from the same artist at Frank & Sons. Art the Clown and Pale Girl also from Frank & Sons. Let's go right here. So we got Apocalypse facing off with Doctor Strange and Wong right there. And a couple Spider-Man villains right there. So we got Rhino, the Shocker. We got Batgirl variant. We got a power-up right there. My absolute favorite display right here. We have Kitty Pryde holding on to the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man with getting reunited with Gwen Stacy. So I really love that display because that just reminds me of basically one of my favorite moments from my favorite Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, when he saves Zendaya. It's one of my favorite moments right there. That's why I wanted to recreate this with him being reunited with his Gwen after he saves the girlfriend of that world's Spider-Man. So, yeah. Okay, so we got Hot Toys Captain Marvel right here. We have basically a sign of national treasure right there. We got Ned Flanders wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Okay, we got a couple figures right here. We got Black Suited Spider-Man facing off against Spider-Gwen and Sandman right there. We got Purple Yoshi. Let's turn off that light, actually. There we go. Now we're not getting that glare. Okay, a few other little figures right here. Kind of tried to organize it a little better between, like, kind of worlds a little bit. And then what we got right here that I'm really excited for, that's a bottle of Hypnosil for Nancy Thompson from Dream Warriors right there. And that is Freddy from Wes Craven's New Nightmare, beside a random Gremlins. Okay, so what we have right here. So some of more of my writing books right here, beside the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman Charlie Funko right there. A few more Funkos right here, which are the Ghostly Trio from Casper 1995, Stretch Facho Stinky, Spot as John Hammond, and that's the Target mascot. Well, a couple little miscellaneous right there. Some comics that I'm in the process of rereading and deciding where they're going to go on the shelf. Cat bed right there. So what we got right here, me and Sonia at IHOP. Phantom. Nobody argues with the Phantom and wins. Gnome, Jason Voorhees. Baby Art the Clown Terrifier. My absolute favorite Devastator, which is the Studio Series 86 fully formed. Nightmare on Elm Street VHS. That is Pennywise It. Pop-up wall display right there. Arnie as Mr. Freeze. Elvira, one of many Elviras right there. That's the Santa variant Elvira. Marty from Back to the Future NECA. Lambert from Alien. T-800 from Terminator. Big Chap Xenomorph from NECA Alien. That is the Mosquito and Amber underneath him. That's Spider-Man, and that's Cesar Romero Joker with Bela Lugosi and Pennywise head. A few other little NECA bobbleheads right there. Body swayers on this one, so when it's sunny, these guys will start to move. Little variant Elvira that I created, which is the Darth Elvira, which is awesome. Nightbreed Director's Cut poster from Shout Studios. Patrick, one of my best buddies from high school, his wedding photo with me and Mary with a ticket from one of his shows at the Wire. Me and my friend Whitney. Michael J. Fox disappearing photo from Back to the Future Part 2. Me with the DeLorean underneath that. Let's go back here. Back it up. Actually, let's start up right here. So what we have here is the Daywalker Funko. We got a Stegosaurus right there, baby Stegosaurus from Lost World Jurassic Park. That is Hammond Collection. Now, I don't have nearly as many figures as I did before in previous videos because I consolidated them down. Trying not to collect as many figures now because I over-collected. I'm not gonna lie, I over-collected. So I'm just condensing down, trying not to have so much. Working on doing better. Okay. These are Hot Toys right here. So that is That's Poison Ivy from Batman the Animated Series. That's Batwoman. That is Peter Parker Spider-Man from the 90s animated series. That's X-23 Laura. That is Batman 89, Bruce Wayne, Batman. That is Rowdy Roddy Piper from They Live in Obi-Wan Kenobi cloak, holding on to a Gremlins Atari. That is She-Ra right there. That's Trash from Night of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead. That is Homer Snake. That is Scarlet Witch right there. Couple little NECA swap out heads right there from figures. Jason Voorhees Tombstone, Phantom Ring. Baby T-Rex from Lost World Jurassic Park. Indiana Jones being chased by the boulder. Sergeant Slaughter from G.I. Joe. So what we have right here are documentaries from franchises right there. So In Search of Darkness documentary, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Batman, DC Universe, favorite directors. So some of my favorite directors' movies right there. We got Alfred Hitchcock with John Carpenter right there. Same kind of aesthetic. There's more than just the movies that you see on the inside, and I have it labeled because that's my organization style right there. Ellen Ripley Funko. Few other favorites from Giallo era, Studio G's, D. Snyder Funko. My desk where I eat, or really this is my podcast desk right there with stuff on the inside right there. Okay. Little book and mask wall section, and that is my Ghostbusters mat from Spirit Halloween. So what we got right there, that is Reagan from Exorcist with a VHS of Evil Dead. Lon Chaney Wolfman. These are Fangoria magazines in between him and Frankenstein right there. So that is my Fangoria collection with some Rolling Stone bands. So I got Tom Petty, David Bowie, and Jim Morrison. Right over here is the Haunted Mask from the Haunted Mask Goosebumps. Kodos from Simpsons Halloween Special, wearing a Jurassic Park hard hat and holding on to a Spider-Man mask. A few more of like my reference book sections right here. A couple books I'm in the process of reading right here. That's a album Funko of Avril's Let Go. A few other books that I'm working on reading right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move back over here. We'll move up right here, actually. So we'll go up and down. So that is my Jurassic Park Legacy Brontosaurus. I love that thing. It looks like a display piece, honestly. And it's an action figure, which is awesome. Bartleby Loki figures from Dogma. Doctor Strange variant from What If. Halloween 2. That is Halloween 2, Halloween 1, with the original TV cut, the version that I love because those deleted scenes need to be in it. Halloween 2, Blood Tears NECA Michael. And Halloween 4 is also in that right there. Stan Lee, creator of Marvel Comics and some of my favorite Marvel characters. Spider-Man, that's from the vinyl. I basically cut it up and made it into a display because I really like that Spider-Man look. Like, I like that look of Tobey. right there next to Freddy from Freddy's Nightmares, the series. That was a custom made by a company called Gutter Garbs. So that's an ad for the Tales from the Crypt VHS collection right there. Vintage ad. Chucky Walker. Movie. Book. Wall, reference section right here. Okay, so this is another vinyl wall right here. Oh, up right here. So Matrix of Leadership, Retro, Skywarp, and Thundercracker, and a few other little guys right there. Flash Gordon and Jack from The Shining, Jack Nicholson. That is the hoverboard scene that Funko made. So I really love that. That was a birthday gift. And it's awesome. And it just looks perfect right there as a display piece. We got the NECA Count Dracula right there. So Con Van Count. That is Jim Carrey as the mask right there by him. The twins from The Shining. M'Baku and Black Panther. Black Panther as Star-Lord from What If. Retro, Soundwave, Captain Marvel. And that is the Weird Twins from Marvel. That's an Egyptian bird guarding one of the Tales from the Crypt VHSs. These are my movie soundtrack collections right here. Not going to go through everything, but a lot of that is like horror soundtracks, kind of. So you'll see like Halloween 2, Jaws, a lot of the Friday the 13th and Halloweens, Nightmare on Elm Street. And then these are superhero soundtracks right there. And then what you got right here are more magazines that couldn't fit on the other section right there. Beside the Trick or Treat Studios, Freddy, that I had a sheriff hat onto, Goose Plush, Freddy Walker, VHS for Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Oh, back over here by the cat tree because I left out that I have my vintage Goosebumps Haunted mask right there on the floor. Roxetta the Destroyer being a croissant while I very slowly move her. Very carefully, because I don't want to disturb the baby. I love you, Roxetta. You're my ride or die for life. Okay. Moving on up here. The past and present Supermans right there. So that's the theatrical poster for Christopher Reeve. That is the current Superman, David Cornsweet. Honestly, those two Superman movies, they are complementary to each other. I feel that Richard Donner made the blueprint for the best Superman movie with the one from '78. And you can look at this David Cornsweet Superman basically as a companion piece to the origin story. And I just love how those two look together like that. Carl Urban Dread from 2012, 2013-ish, somewhere around there. I think 12. Toonie Terrors, Quint and Bruce. That is a pop-up Wonder Woman right there. Man-Bat, DC Universe, Man-Bat. Hammerhead from Spider-Man Animated Series, Groot Funko, Gwen Stacy Funko, Doc Brown, NECA, Carnage from Spider-Man figure, At Walker from Star Wars, that's from the Phantom Menace, that's one of the ships. That's a nurse Funko that holds up my light. Nemesis Prime, Jada figure, Spider-Gwen on a skateboard, Now we'll go up here and through each of the shelves right here. So we have Spirit Halloween Crypt Keeper beside the Creep from Creep Show. It's a puppet inside of a ghost trap from Ghostbusters. What he's holding on to is a VHS copy of Late Night with the Devil, one of my favorite movies, favorite horror movies, found footage from 2024. Now, found footage, I'm not a really huge fan of found footage, but I really like the elements of Late Night with the Devil, and I really liked that retro feel that Umbrella, the company that released this version of Late Night with the Devil, did for it, because it's a really awesome prop, and the Creep holds on to it. A few other Funkos right here, and a few more Transformer figures. Jim Carrey Riddler, Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face, next to Flasher Gremlin, cassette tape for Super Mario Brothers, Superman Popcorn Bucket, Alfred Hitchcock Funko, Wonder Woman. Inside the Superman Popcorn Bucket is Crypto and Goose the Flurkin with the Tesseract. Shockwave from Transformers, that's the Bumblebee version. Superman, Grogu from Star Wars. And what I have here are my Barnes & Noble Classic collections right here. So this entire shelf is Barnes & Noble Classics. That is the Steelbook for The Long Walk. And that is basically a German snuff film. Isla She-Wolf of the SS that Kino Lorber did. I really like that art, so it stays behind Thing from Addams Family and Jessica Jones right there kicking in a wall. It's awesome. So a few more of the Barnes & Noble Classic collections right there. A few other little odds and ends variants there. Scar and the Hyenas from The Lion King. Eliza Dushku True Calling. That's a Ghost Neutrino one. That is R2-D2. That is Toothless plush that sits on your shoulder holding onto a hoverboard with an Eye of Agamotto. That is Halloween 4 Return of Michael Myers case behind him. Few other little books right there. Couple little things. That's a puzzle for The Shining right there. And a couple little books and a crate right there. Right over here, this is my Stephen King book collection right there. Beside a Poison Ivy comic right there. Mario. Animal plush right there. Rey from Star Wars. A couple little figures right there. Okay. What we got right here is a Fright Scope right here. They basically click through like the retro little film toys I used to play with when I was younger. It's a pretty awesome thing that Fright Rags, another online boutique company, made. And it's a really awesome collector's piece right there beside an Elvira comic book. More Stephen King collections right there. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors poster. Bruce Funko with the gas tank. Spirit Halloween Martian from Mars Attacks. Thor from Thor the Dark World. Body Wobbler. Beep, 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 beep. Lost World VHS. Raptor toy. Funko Jane Cobb from Firefly. Those are some movie production books right there for a couple different movies right there. And then what you got right there, those are also movies in those CD wallets right there. They're the ones that are not on the shelf. Those are my weights right there. So those are movies that aren't on the shelves because aesthetically I was trying to cut down the movie wall. which is right here. So this is a really big boy that I put together right there. So that is from Walmart, the Halloween favorites of the Universal Classics. That's a wall display from one of the earlier Halloween Classic Monster re-releases that a buddy of mine was able to save for me. And I put it up on my wall, and it stays right up there. Okay, so plushies. Jurassic Park wall sign, Ghostbusters wall sign, Starscream from Bumblebee, Adam West Batman, Creep Show, the Creep NECA, my really awesome Spider Mohawk from NECA, with the Gremlins 2 Mogwais, also Penny, and Rambo Gizmo. And then Blood, Tears, Ben Cooper, Michael Myers, blue shelf display right there, NECA, Ace Ventura, right up there, Cassandra Peterson, that's from Spirit Halloween, wall canvas. Really awesome Batman 89 display that Gutter Garbs custom made. And it stays right there behind my podcasting desk. Okay, so moving down here. So this is the movie wall right here. So let's get an overview first. Hey, Roxana. You enjoying this? Yeah, I love you. Okay. So yeah, movie wall. Really, really condensed down now. But these are the movies that I love and that I go for. Right there. We'll go shelf by shelf in a moment right there. Underneath that are vinyls organized by year of the artist's release. Not by year of release of the album, but year that the artist became a band. So that's what that is. I have more than enough space to work with for future vinyls there. And that's awesome. So we'll go right over here. That's Skeletor from the Masters of the Universe collection right there. From the movie from 87. So Frank Langella. Few more little DVDs there. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Stand By Me. Dogma and Clerks. So kind of like Kevin Smith collection of DVDs right there. Devil Flanders right there. Funko. Queen Alien from the Kenner Aliens line by Rock Candy Ellen Ripley right there from Aliens. That is my Universal Classic Monsters shot glass right there. Beside the Universal Classic Monsters collection by Creature, which is an awesome way to have that displayed right there. And then that's also It Came From Another World, which is another Universal Monster Classic released. But that's an Alien movie. So right there, that is my Universal collection right there. Or a couple Universal releases, like Jaws, Blues Brothers, Fright Night. Beside The Mummy from Trick or Treat Studios' Goosebumps line. Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. Black Scorpion, Roger Corman TV show from the early 2000s that was on the Sci-Fi Channel. Really cheesy, but you get what you get with Roger Corman. Okay, these are Warner Brother releases right here. Beside Haunted Mass, also from Trick or Treat and NECA. Trick or Treat Studios Goosebumps line right there. So, yeah, those are Warner Brothers releases. Moving on right over here, you have the Pizza Tosser Mikey with Xena Warrior Princess from The Simpsons by Arrow Video. I organized these movies by the company that distributed them in alphabetical order. So we got Arrow here after the mainstream ones, Universal, Warner Brothers, you know the theme. Avril Lavigne, Skater Boy, Funko, Hard Boiled, Chow Yun Fat, that's a John Woo, Chinese film. A really awesome Chinese martial arts film, Hard Boiled. And I really love the look of that display right there. Those are Dorbs, Doctor Strange, and Wanda, Scarlet Witch. Few more era releases there. Those are like 90s right there. That is the Warwick Davis Leprechaun, Funko, Goose Flurkin from Captain Marvel, Red Guardian, facing off against Evil Ash from Army of Darkness Funko, Spirited Away, Blu-ray case, Studio Ghibli. Right here, what we got is Blue Underground releases. Up here beside Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990s are my Criterions. Pennywise Funko, that's a Tim Curry version. Grindhouse releasing. Also next to Indicator as well. So that's Grindhouse releasing and Indicator, two different boutique companies that I put together alphabetically. They just fit that way. That's Tombstone with Eliza Dushku Faith from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And as I said, Celebrity Crush, Eliza Dushku right there. That is a Stripe bookshelf Nook. That's the retro Taco Bell Chihuahua. So that's from the 90s. That is very retro right there. I've had that since the 90s. It doesn't work anymore, but it still displays well. Kino Lorber, Complicated Avril Lavigne Funko, beside Black Suited Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Black Suit version, and the sign from the NECA Michael Myers, Curse of Michael Myers. So that's the sign that was outside the Strode house. And then that's Gambit, X-Men Animated Series, and Rumpelstiltskin. So that is Terror Vision. I believe that released that one. No, Paramount Scares. That's Paramount Scares boutique right there. These next two shelves right here are Shout Selects and Shout Factory. I have a lot of Shout Factories, and those aren't all of them because, as I said previously, what you see on the cover, there's at least 2 to 3 other movies on the inside, and it's labeled, so I know which one is where when I'm looking at the cover. Okay, so that is Funko Jurassic Park Gate with a raptor. That makes awesome sounds right there. Toxie from the Toxic Avenger, beside a Jeff plush. His name is Jeff. And then, if I come over here, what you got is Black Suited Spider-Man, retro figure from the Spider-Man Animated Series 90s line. That is my Ben Affleck Batman mask right there. Beside the Jaws popcorn bucket, Triceratops from the Hammond collection. Beside Calendar Girl from G.I. Joe is riding on the Triceratops. These are pull string shelf talkers right there, which is also with the alien from They Live mask. So that's Bart. That is Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. No, that's Beavis. That's Beavis. Beside Killer Krusty and the Baryonyx. And then what we have right here, this is my absolute favorite movie wall right here, which is behind my desk. You can see the titles there, no need to really go into it. And then those are VHSs for Terminator and Superman. I'll just take a moment here to just kind of pan the titles so you can kind of see. what I got for my favorites right there. Any one of these is like in my top 30 favorites, basically. Not in order, it's just by aesthetically what's pleasing. A few other little Funkos right there. So what I got here is just a continuation from off the shelf. So these are Second Sight and Umbrella. And then TerrorVision for the keep on top right there. That is Severance Opera beside Grogu from The Mandalorian. Those are Vestron beside Grimlock Funko from Transformers. Those are Vinegar Syndromes right there besides Spider-Gwen Rock Candy and a Superman Funko. So those I have room to work with. Okay, and then also right over here, I didn't really take a moment to go over these. So by my desk, I have the Jaws poster right there for the re-release, the 3D re-release. That's the Captain America Salute You from Captain America First Avenger. And that's NECA Elvira and NECA Tom Atkins from Night of the Creeps. Okay, so right over here, Elvira, Elektra, and that's a scene, the nice scene from Aliens. My absolute favorite James Cameron movie. Number 2 favorite movie of all time, next to number 1 being, of course, Back to the Future. So these are my NECA Turtles right here. The only one I don't have is Michelangelo or April O'Neil or the Shredder. And those are a few more reference books right there. That's Hooper NECA. That's Quint NECA. That is a cassette for Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. And these are the Marvel art books that I got. And that's a retro Tales from the Crypt cup. Okay. So let's go to the wall right here. So that is a Hot Toys Venom from the Spider-Man animated series, beside a light-up Jason Voorhees mask and a Darth Vader action figure. Eventually that action figure is going to be replaced by either another really awesome Hot Toys figure that fits or something else. So what we have here are some Kotobukiya figures. That's Kitty Pryde. That's Wonder Girl. That is the Marvel Legends Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. That's the Thanos Gauntlet right there. That's Yondu beside Flash Gordon right there. And that's Willie from The Simpsons as Freddy. That's Dennis Nedry by the Dilophosaur. That's Ben Cooper Jaws that I took out of its box. These are my Power Rangers by Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander is basically the sit-in for Rita Repulsa. That's Firestar from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. That is Indiana Jones from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy, Godzilla, Ben Cooper, Ed the Hyena from a Burger King, kids meal from when Lion King came out. I've had that since that movie came out, so that is a very vintage figure. Some Ben Cooper still in the box that I never took out. So Thanos is facing off with Ripley from Aliens in a video game matchup. Greta Gremlin from NECA. My CD collection right there. One of 3 CD displays right there. CD wallet has some movies in them. CDs in them. Ramona Flowers. Blades. Nice Chow from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Some tapes behind them. Cassette tapes. So these are soundtracks and artists. Basically go soundtracks first and then artist. No need to go through those titles. I'm trying not to make this video last long, but it's probably going to wind up being a 2-hour video again. So it's probably not going to go up on my Instagram. It's probably just going to go straight to my YouTube. So these are my NECA alien figures mixed in with the Ghostbusters from the most recent Ghostbusters line. And then that's Biff Tannen from Back to the Future NECA by the Back to the Future VHS. Right over here, we got the Dilophosaur that moves next to a mailbox Jurassic Park with goodies. That is my vinyl player right there, which also does cassette, CD, radio, MP3. It does everything. That's a desk right there. I like to consider this kind of like my study section right here. Got my coffee maker right there. When I'm in school, this would be like my study section right here, with a couple different classic books right there that aren't Barnes & Noble classics. That is organized because they're classics. Funko She-Ra, Wayne's World VHS right there. Inside that CD wallet, that's the Tales from the Crypt DVD collection. So not in the box, they're in the wallet right there for easy access. Beside my study desk right here, it's my kitchen table right here. So I really made a huge change right here because I had a bookcase that was in front of this table right here. It gave the cats access to eat, but it didn't give me access because I didn't think about that for the longest time. I removed the bookcase to kind of cut down on things, give myself more space, and now I have a kitchen table. I have a podcast desk right there. I have a study desk right here. And I also have my music section right here. So I have a fully functional area right here with the space that I got. I wish I had more, but you make do with what you got. A few other little guys up there. There is Xenosaurus. That is from a work display right there of Superman. And some cars that I put in front of him that he could be doing a super punch with. And a couple little guys right here. Tales from the Crypt Keeper vintage from the 90s. Popcorn bucket for Rocky Horror Picture Show. That is Cosmo plush. Aliens cast photo by the Sulaco dropship. Marty and Doc from Back to the Future Part 3. Billy Zane Collector. Denise Richards in Wild Things. That's from the Arrow release. They sometimes do little like lobby cards on the inside. I like to frame them. You'll see another display of them a little later. Catra from Masters of the Universe. 3D Deep. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 cassette display. Stan Lee Funko in bronze. That's my CWRPRODUCTIONS Mancave sign, established 1984. Black Widow Scarlett Johansson from Winter Soldier figure, Marvel Legends. Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, Blaster, Retro from Transformers. Okay. And then we'll go back over here. So what we got right here is the Daffy prop from Trick or Treat Studios inside of the Shao Kahn popcorn bucket from Mortal Kombat 2 that just recently dropped. I was very lucky to get that. And now this little prop does not fall over because he's inside the Shao Kahn popcorn bucket. So yay. That is a Angel figure right there. And those are robotics. RoboCop right there. Jack Burton Funko. Q figure Crypt Keeper. Old Man Steve Rogers from Endgame. Catwoman, Hot Toy, Rock Candy. Backside of the Matrix of Leadership. It has the same display from the front and the back. A couple little figures here. Jareth from Labyrinth. Some Batman Forever retro figures that are made to look like the Kenner line. Little mini Spider-Man, little mini Captain Marvel, and that is Miss Marvel from Shazam. Another Angel. Fairies are awesome. That's really all I gotta say. Fairies are awesome. I have a few different kind of fairies throughout that you'll see. Hobgoblin Funko from Spider-Man the Animated Series. Elvira Valentine's cards from Fright Rags, which are awesome. And they just stay right there as part of the display. Captain Planet Funko with the Michael Keaton Batman and Joker on the back computer display. Kind of a horror section right here, like Stephen King collection, more or less. I also got my Near Dark DVD and my Texas Chainsaw and I Spit on Your Grave in there, and a couple other DVDs. So that is Ellen Ripley, NECA from Alien. That's the Commando Elvira from Elvira Mistress of the Dark. That's Spider Carnage. That is a Goose plush. That is a Facehugger plush. That is the Amazing Spider-Man Andrew Garfield version from Spider-Man 2. I won that on my last night at Regal in Vegas before I moved back to California in 2014. So I moved back in 2014. I moved to Vegas from California in 2005. And those are a couple little figures right there, dolls. Scarlet Witch, America Chavez, Barbie. That is the Captain America shield from Brave New World popcorn bucket that they are in. Frost, Masters of the Universe. That is a Xenomorph pop-up. That's a Tutankhamun statue. That is from Spirit Halloween. That's the camp counselor costume, which is awesome. So what I got right here is another mask right there. That is from Creepshow. That's the Nathan mask zombie. That is the Logan mask from Deadpool and Wolverine. Barbie, Captain Marvel right there. Playing cards that Danielle got me from Gremlins. And then a couple more little reference section right here. And this is Shout Studios. Their Giallo, Mario Bava. Their Blaxploitation. And then on top of that is their Hong Kong collection. Helen Slater, Supergirl. Beside Last Action Hero, Zack Slater. Right over here, that is Lenora, a podcaster that I follow. Her show, Midnight Rentals, basically kind of parodies, like a blending of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, which is who she's with. That's Cassandra Peterson right there. It's like a meshing of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark with Pee Wee Herman, which is awesome. And then that's Johnny Depp with Freddy Krueger on the set of Freddy's Dead. And then right there, we got Bruce Campbell with Nathan Fillion right there. My buddy James with the Batmobile from Batman 89. So right over here, what we got are a few more Shout selections. Like I said, Shout got me into boutiques, so I have multiple sections of Shout, but they're organized at least. So this is their Roger Corman Classics line right there. So what we have here are just a few more titles from Shout that these are like the bangers, what I really, really enjoy. I wanted them away from the other ones right here. So this is a small little section of other favorites. And then that is Tom Petty Funko. And then right here, another kind of like side display of some classic Arrow releases right there, and the Austin Powers trilogy right there. And that's McCready Funko from The Thing. Okay, and right over here, underneath that Jaws popcorn bucket, which also has Slimer, Spider-Man golf ball, and a Soundwave tech deck, like a little skateboard that you use with your fingers, a fingerboard. He's holding onto that. Underneath here, these are more franchise horror from Shout's factory right here. So that is the Halloween collection that they did. That is the Friday the 13th collection that they did. And these are the Nightmare on Elm Street ones. I know that an overseas company did the Nightmare on Elm Street 4Ks last year. I did not get that collection. I got a digital version of them, but I did not get that collection because I did not want to spend the $230 plus $300 to get it. So I have the old school version of it, and it works for me. But I do have at least this guy, which is pretty cool, and that's just the very first one that they did. So maybe eventually they'll do individual line and they'll go there. And then also Phantasm Funko right there of the Tall Man, Phantasm and Phantasm 2, and my Child's Play collection that Shout Factory did right there. And then that's the Terrifier films right there. Umbrella release version. And then that is the Tales from the Crypt Archives book that I read backwards and forwards in high school, pretty much. That was one of my favorite books to read because I really got into Tales from the Crypt when I was much too young, and it is my favorite TV show. And then on top of that is a Goosebump coloring book that I felt fit right there. And right over here, Texas Chainsaw Massacre sign from Spirit Halloween, Retro Raff. That reminds me of like my childhood when I was growing up. Beside Turbo Man. Turbo Man. I need some water. So that is me and Danielle. My 40th birthday outside of the Collective Soul concert right there. These are a couple of my concert stubs right there. So that's from my very first concert, Depeche Mode. That is one of Patrick's concerts right there at the Wire. I kept that one for myself. And that's my Portishead ticket right there. Dennis Nedry Engine badge from a Jurassic Park book. Sulaco patch that I put right there. Another Sulaco patch. Elvira patch. That is Ray Parker Jr. with Harold Ramis, Bill Murray, and Dan Aykroyd on the Ghostbusters video, which looks awesome. That is a Nightmare on Elm Street clapper. That is RoboCop telling you to say no to drugs. And that's Danielle in a black and white photo. So this display right here, this is like a 4K section right down here. So let's move that water bottle right there. Okay, so that's the Warner 4Ks. I don't have a 4K player, but I got the Blu-rays inside them, and the 4Ks are set aside in a crate just in case I ever do switch over. So they're safe. I just haven't felt the need to switch out my TV and my player yet because I have a player that can do all regions right now. So I have a region-free player that I'm happy with and a regular TV. Eventually, when those go out, I'll have to switch to 4K, but I haven't gotten there yet. But I like keeping the 4K section kind of right here. Shout Factory, when they were a company, they had a lot of titles. As you can tell, they had a lot of really good titles. And then these are some Kino Lorber 4Ks right there. That's Bulbasaur from Pokemon with the Blockbuster sign right there. Charmander holding on to Tom Petty with the VHS of Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. And that is Jim Carrey with Cameron Diaz right there. From The Mask, Arrow Video did that lobby card on it, and it's a really cool shot. I just can't really get a good picture of it that's not glary. And then a few little NECA figures right there. So that's the Rocketeer, Jason from Jason Lives, Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, Robocop pointing on a ghost face, Funko Peter Bankman, and Spangler with Slimer going into the ghost trap right there. That is DC Universe Jim Carrey Riddler next to DC Universe Adam West Batman. Loki Funko, and the Werewolf Funko from The Howling, which is awesome. Okay, so we'll go up here. That is my Mutilator poster right there. That is Laura Lavera, Sierra Shaw from the Terrifier films, Terrifier 2 to be more specific. That is the poster from Ridley Scott's Alien. John Carpenter's The Fog poster with Texas Chainsaw right there. Those are postcards. And a couple other little photos right here. Just going to kind of pan around right here. That is a wall sign from the tool rental from Home Depot that they were getting rid of, so I kept it for myself. And those are Lee Merriweather Catwoman, Frank Gorshin Riddler, Burgess Meredith Penguin, Cesar Romero Joker from Batman the Adam West series, Batman from the 60s. These are a few more Funkos right here. So that is Carl from Terminator Dark Fate. That is McCready from The Thing. That is Lucas Fox Morgan Freeman from The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan trilogy. Ash from The Evil Dead 2. Deadpool and Wolverine. Griff from Back to the Future Part 2. Red Dress Elvira, Judith Myers Tombstone, and a couple other little pictures right here. Kiki's Delivery Service, Elijah Dushku, Camp Crystal Lake sign for Spirit Halloween, Friday the 13th. Okay, up here, these are my Spider-Man No Way Home Funkos and some other Funko displays right here. Okay. Evil Dead poster right here. That's a Black Sabbath postcard right there. And that is the Adam West Batman with a postcard for the Adam West Batman. You'll see that the posters on this side, they all kind of have a theme, and the Fog poster as well too. They have the white borders. This is kind of like the white borders section, the posters. That's why I kind of organized them this way here. That's a Black Sabbath concert postcard. I'm going to scroll down up here. Magnets right there. My mug collection right there. A lot of different mugs. Those are from Frankensons right there. They're poster boards that I took off the boards. So they're just prints now. That's it there. Eliza Dushku again. That's Faith from Buffy. Original Friday the 13th poster. Mini poster. I like the mini posters because they take up less space than the 24 by 36s. So those are from Frankensons right there. That's Margaret Robbie, Harley Quinn, kind of like Arkham version, Harley Quinn, me and Sonia, Danielle, and then my dad in his military uniform right there. Rest in peace. Okay, so now we're headed into the hallway here. Red Sonja Arrow poster right there. It's a really awesome display to have right there. I really love that. Not a great movie, but a great poster. So those are the Universal NECAs right there. Wolfman, Bela Lugosi, Pennywise. He's not Universal Monsters, but Stephen King did use a lot of that influence when he was writing it, so Pennywise found a home right there. That is Bride of Frankenstein, but that is not the actress. That is an April O'Neil variant. That's Frankenstein right there, and that is the Invisible Man right there. Hat collection right there. Gremlins 2 mini poster right there. One of the EC Comics covers for the episode 3-Sided Triangle. Right there. It's a really awesome cover. I really like that. And then that's the Conan one right there. I really love Gremlins 2. I adored the heck out of that VHS when I was younger. I watched that more than I probably watched Gremlins just because I loved the energy. That's why I have the Daffy Mogwai from Trick or Treat Studios, and you'll see Mohawk too. So that is Babam Plush. These are some CDs right here. So that's Opeth, that's Bon Jovi, Liz Phair, and a couple soundtracks. So these are my steelbooks right here. I kind of wanted to get one of the shelves, like this guy right here, like one of these cube shelves for over here, but they didn't have any available yesterday. But the milk crate kind of works right here because it doesn't take up the space. Like, it takes up less space than having the cube right here, and I think this works. So this is for steelbooks and new releases, non-boutiques. And there's really no organization yet in there because there's not a whole lot of those ones yet. I'm still kind of working on that right now, so it's building up. Okay, Chris Evans, Captain America right there. Phantom, Billy Zane right there. No smoking in the Skull Cave, Mr. Evans. That is from Hobby Lobby. That's a T-Rex wearing a lei. And also wearing Elvira Lanyard. Blood Tears Michael. I'm going to step back over here. Charmander plush. Oh. Mario hat. Whitney and me at Disneyland for one of my birthdays. So I got a few little things over here on my washer dryer right here. Pictures, of course. People we already know. But one thing I wanted to shout out right here are my 3D glasses for Freddy's Dead. That the kind people at Movie Dumpster sent me and signed for me as well. So that's Joe and Sean signing that there. That was when they were doing a watch along on their Patreon channel for the fans, and they offered the 3D glasses. I took an opportunity to get a free pair of them, and I asked if they would mind signing it for me, which they very kindly did. Thank you, Movie Dumpster, Sean and Joe. You guys are awesome, and I love the content. Okay. And then these are just a couple little movie poster magnets right here beside a Husky plush. Yeah. And that's a sticker for strong women with a woman doing a flex on my washer dryer because strong women inspire me. That's from Demolition Man right there. That's the 3 seashells as the buttons right there on my washer dryer because that's awesome. Ripley and Hicks sticker from Aliens. A few other little figures right here.